throwing it out there.
Can you imagine the first primate to ever just take a handful of them things? Just thinking like, oh, all right, we're gonna try this. If it kills me, I die. If not, then I survive. And
I
just
almost
tripped balls for like 12 hours.
I almost think the first one probably got ate by something. The second one grabbed him and went up in the tree,
Yeah.
and then he
I saw
started
how
eating
Billy
them.
went out, and I'm not doing that.
Exactly. Kyle, we've kept you on for like way too long, man. It's been like an hour and a half of keeping you up. I know you got to work too, right?
Yeah, but this is more fun, and I'd rather be here than there. So
Right on, man.
I'm good to
Just
keep
like
going.
at any point, man, if you're like, dude, guys, I'm tired, I gotta go. Just you know what I mean? I know I've probably got about 20 minutes left in the tank for myself personally, and then I gotta get it going.
Yeah, I
But
gotta
yeah.
be up at 3, so
You guys are boring.
yeah, we are boring. Sorry.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. Day jobs and all.
I actually I was meaning to touch back on this, and then we got caught into something else. So I want to reel it back a little bit, Denny. So we were talking about ghosts and Sasquatch and stuff like that. Now,
Yeah.
I had this weird theory pop into my head a couple months ago. I was talking to my dad about something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like we were watching this one Bigfoot show, and they were seeing shadows at night, but they weren't seeing any Sasquatch." And I was like, "Holy shit! What if the Sasquatch that are cloaking are actually Sasquatch ghosts?"
Dude, yeah. I mean, why not?
Why not?
I mean, you know what I mean?
That kind of lends a hand. What was it? Something Carpenter. That video that you were talking about, Denny. What's his name?
Scott Carpenter.
Scott
Yeah.
Carpenter. He had that weird video that he did.
Man, he's got some
years.
crazy portals and shit, and there's
Yeah,
beings inside the portals and stuff, and it's insane. But it's like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean?
Bending the light around it and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I can grasp. I don't know what's your take on the whole portal thing with Sasquatch, but maybe it has something to do with the theory of them like being able to cloak, like they have like almost active camouflage in a way.
Well, like I said before with the atoms, I don't know if it's necessarily an interdimensional thing. I think maybe if they're, like I said, on a higher frequency than we are, if you change your atomic structure through frequency, you can become invisible. What if it's just that?
I mean, that's not honestly, that's what he's describing with frequency change would technically be going into physics and the dimensional stuff. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
we know that there's different dimensions and they operate on different frequencies. And if a creature does operate on a different frequency than the rest of us, then it's technically a different dimensional creature. I can accept that.
Yeah.
I could live with that one.
Yeah.
So you're throwing the hat in that Sasquatch could be like another dimension.
Yeah,
creature
but see, dimensionals. I'm not talking like, hey, it's a different dimension where there's creatures over there living, and there's they have whatever. I'm talking like different dimensions of existence,
a different
on this
plane
planet.
of existence.
Yeah,
yeah, where you just once you get to that point, you can't be seen or see other things, like trolls or whatever fairies and stuff that's going on out there. Also,
I like the path of physics, other than like the mythical. You know what I mean? Like, physics is like, hey, we know of like 14 dimensions of existence. I can accept that. Like, okay, I don't understand it, but I can accept it.
Right.
Yeah. I had a guy literally tell me his theory on Sasquatch. And I didn't bring this up to the guys because I was saving this for all of you to hear it.
I feel so special.
That he believed, and he was compelling in his belief to me. So I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make fun of you, man. I'll hear you out. Sasquatch, all of them, are the collective body of the creating force of this world, of this earth. They're the living embodiment of the planet itself, and they exist perfectly in touch with it. So since we're just a creature that lives on the planet, we don't get to play by all the fun rules that they get. That they're the planet itself. They're the creator itself.
So they're like Ego from
Yeah,
guardian
I guess
galaxy.
so. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, wow, man, like that's
Or
I
like
told him
Mother
I'm like
Earth,
I've never heard that before. Yeah, Mother Sasquatch,
Mother
Earth,
Sasquatch.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. It was
Okay.
wild. I thought it was interesting. What do you
that
guys think?
is that's a very interesting way to kind of look at it.
Yeah, it's very cool. He's a Native American guy. He's really cool dude. Trying to talk him into being on the show.
Well, I've also heard that they're the original watchers of the Earth too, where they were here before anybody or anything.
Yeah,
So I mean, I guess that would go hand in hand with that.
What's your opinion on the Nephilim?
I was
Oh,
waiting for the
the
Nephilim.
giants? Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I was waiting for it.
Once the Bigfoot stuff is over for me, that is the next path. I wanna dive down into that little bit of a wormhole there and try to figure out what's because I 100% believe that they were on Earth. I believe I don't know if they were descendants of the gods. I mean, well, so that's where the aliens come back into play for me is because there's evidence showing that we were genetically modified or mutated through the course of evolution and not just because of a mutation in whatever mushroom we decided to eat that day. Which I don't mean to discredit you, Denny, or anybody. It doesn't quite make sense to me how it can be just a perfect mutation. Because I mean, in any other aspect, if it was the fucking mushroom that grew next to it that he ate and it wiped out the entire human species,
Yeah,
so it's almost too lucky.
yeah,
So for me, if that's what came down to the Nephilim being, descendants of gods, I mean, if the gods to us are just aliens and they created us in our own image, then that would make sense. If the Nephilim were sent down to do some sort of destructive behavior, I guess that would be real or whatever. I mean, the Bible talks about it, the natives talk about it before. I mean, before the Ice Age, they've talked about it. So I don't know. It's one of those things that I need to dive deeper on, but I do plan on doing it.
it's interesting, man. The Nephilim walking through the forest, breaking limbs. Every time I hear that, I just think about like, wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
Description of the Nephilim walking through and breaking trees off as he goes.
Yeah. And, like,
Yeah,
we don't even technically know what Sasquatch is. I mean, they could be a descendant of the Nephilim. And there's people on there like, oh, do you think Sasquatch are Nephilim? No, I don't think they are. I think
yeah,
there might have been some sort of connection with them. But other than that, I think they were kind of their own separate thing. And evolutionary speaking wise, too, like dinosaurs were fucking huge. Like, look at the T Rex. The thing was what, like 8 or 10,000 pounds?
Oh yeah, he's a big boy.
Mosquitoes were the size of my dog.
Yeah,
So it makes sense why humans might have evolved huge at first and then shrunk down to what we are now because ecologically speaking we don't have this food source to sustain a population of giants. I mean, we
yeah.
probably do, but it doesn't make sense.
A much higher oxygen content in the air back then too. A
Right.
lot more CO2. So trees got bigger, animals got bigger. As this thing started freezing, the CO2 goes down, oxygen goes down. We shrink to adapt to our surroundings. So I don't know. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
look at the difference in the deer between New York and Florida.
Yeah,
The deer are the size again of my dog down here in Florida. It's ridiculous, but it's because they have to dip around the palmetto leaves and through
yeah,
the swamps and stuff. A 180-pound doe ain't gonna make it through there.
right. Yeah.
So
I mean, I imagine
ecologically,
your deer they have to be nimble, right? They got to be able to get away from like alligators and shit, right?
yeah,
Up these big old sluggish deer up here, they're just hiding from old Billy Bob down there with the rifle.
right,
Hopefully,
yeah,
don't see me.
yeah. Don't walk up to that corn pile.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying, man.
yeah.
See, go
Yep.
full circle back to UFOs. See, you go outside and see a bunch of pizza boxes laying there, dude. I'm telling you, go back in. Don't touch it.
What if I want some pizza?
Oh, you're going for a ride.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Oh, I didn't tell you guys about my my UFO sighting. I gotta do
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
So
let's see.
this is like the first memory I like ever really have is of this night or of this. It was dark. So I'm living in New York. I'm probably like 6 or 7 years old, And we had a neighbor. I called him Uncle Jim, and it's because my dad and him were really close friends. Uncle Jim. So I had the freedom of living on a back road where I didn't have to worry about like being outside or riding my bike around or stuff like that. So I was always just kind of outside doing whatever I was doing at 7 years old. Um, so I like walked around the one side of the house where my neighbor's house is, and I look over to see if Uncle Jim's out, and he's standing up looking up at the sky. So I walk over like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, and it's just getting dark, it's just getting dusk, you know. I don't know when it was. I don't know what time of year. I don't remember any of that. It was just I remember it starting to get dark, and you could just start to see a couple of the stars come out. And he's like, "You see that one light up there?" I'm like, "Isn't that a star?" He's like, "No, but it's blinking." I'm like, "Wouldn't that be a plane?" And he's like, "No, but watch it. It's not moving." And as soon as I like focused on it, it shot across the sky and stopped, just like that, just whoop. And I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" And at that time I knew it wasn't a plane.
Yeah.
I know better, you know. I'm like, so at 7 years old, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but that's a little bit scary. And he's like, yeah, but keep watching. So I'm watching, and it gets to that point where like my 7-year-old ADHD mind goes, I'm gonna look at something else because this is boring now. So I'm just like, I lost focus of it, and he goes, it's right there. And then just as soon as I was like trying to find it again, it shot back across the other side and stopped. In kind of the same distance. It was like a weird 90-degree, maybe more angle. Did the same thing from not moving to over there and stopped. I was like, okay, that's really, really, really weird. So I keep watching it, and as now I'm not going to keep my eyes off of it. So a couple of seconds later, it shoots across again and stops. And then it goes whoop, and disappears over the horizon. So it made like some weird
Yeah.
pattern and then just right over. And that's the first time I ever had anything like that happen.
That's pretty
And
wild.
that's the one that always really stuck with me.
Josh, you had something similar to that, didn't you?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was. We was in the hayfield on the back side of the property, and there was, I think there was 5 or 6 of us walking around back there. But only a couple of us saw it. It was a green light, and it was. I want to say it was coming from like behind us, like in that general region, like coming this way, and it just took a 90-degree turn and just shot straight across the hayfield back where you couldn't see it. And it was like almost like a traffic light green, but it was real small, you know, for us. I mean, I have no idea how big it was, but the light reference to me was like almost like a laser pointer in the sky, you know. So we didn't have quite as much activity with it, but it definitely just came beside us in the overhead and then shot 90 degrees across the front of us and gone.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. It was weird.
It's wild, man, because I can remember right, it was right a little bit before me and you first met, Josh. I can remember hanging out with a friend in my parents' front yard, and I'm probably putting my age out there for everybody, but I was like a teenager at this time, so this was like over 20 years ago. And we were like laying there looking at the stars, and it was so cool, you know, or whatever. And there was a green light that went across the sky, and then it turned around and went back. And we were like, because
Yeah.
I was already like, man, I was already like interested.
Well, and
You know,
if,
so I'm
if
like,
we was, yeah, we would have been 12, 13 when this
Yeah.
happened. So maybe you saw the same green light because, I
Dude,
mean, you're only at that point in time, my farm and your farm were 15 minutes away.
yeah, we probably did see the same thing.
It's very possible because it would have been about the same year, you know,
And it was green. I do remember that.
like a traffic light green. Yeah.
Yes. It was so crazy, man.
That would be so cool if you guys saw the same thing.
It would. I mean, it's similar. Like the way he described it to me when I was sitting there, I'm like, huh. I
Yep.
seen something like that. And then when we start talking about it, I'm like, dude, I don't even want to say it.
So Dave was the one that was with me.
Yeah.
That saw it. And it still took Dave almost 2 years to tell me his story that he told on our show after that. Like we physically watched it together,
Yeah.
and it still took him 2 more years to say, yeah, I saw a black triangle fly over my house. You know,
Yeah.
Dude, I know, man. It's weird because not everybody wants to talk about it. Not everybody wants to come out and be like, okay, I saw something weird.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you guys think that the government has aliens like living with them or living like in their own bases?
No,
Why
I
not?
think the government is terrified of what's the unknown. They're seeing things in the sky just as like we are, and they're just making it sound like they know more, or they're leading it on, and they're just as terrified because they're like, we really don't know. Like, they're like basically like, yeah, we've known about these all along, and they're like, no, we didn't. Like,
The disclosure was a little sketchy because it was like,
The
redacted.
yes, we know about the UFOs, right?
redacted.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's a page full of black lines.
Right.
Read
That
that.
annoys the shit out of me so much. Like, look, like released top secret UFO documentation. It's all
Yeah.
just black, and then you see like one word and it says A. Like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
You get a
Right.
you get a
is that?
letterhead. You get a letterhead, a date, a state, and a bunch of black lines.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah.
I'm still back at Bob Lazar. All the shit he said that everybody
back
thought he
that
was
too.
insane. It's all coming true. Everybody back in the 90s was like, this guy's crazy as shit. And now everybody's like, yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, he was crazy as shit, but he might be right. You know what I mean?
I stand behind him too.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Bob
Yeah,
Lazar, man.
Didn't he like discover like an element or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
And,
working
like-
in Area 51. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. I believe him. I believe he was actually in Area 51. There's too many things that he said that he described that was like later came true. You know?
Yep.
And it was specific shit. It wasn't like, you know,
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
described
do
like
the-
the ID he had and how it went in the machine.
yeah, he described all of it. And that stuff came out. People were selling that shit where these are pieces of equipment that were found and they were like, yeah, this is some government facility and here's this. And they were matching it to his story. He didn't do the like, you know, call in psychic thing. Like, do you go to sleep at night and get up in the morning?
Oh my God, yes.
I do.
How
You
did
know?
That
you
is
know?
me. You
He
know-
didn't do that. He was like, this is the date it happened. Here's what happened after. Here's what happened after that. Here's what this was. We found this and this worked and this didn't work. And you're going to see it because they're going to release it over time. I guarantee it. And then they did. And it was like, even the freaking element, dude. I'm like, Bob
Well,
Lazar,
okay.
dude.
I think I've asked this question before on the show, but I wanted to get Kyle's take on this. Okay, if we've have like alien technology and we've learned some stuff out of it, what piece of technology you think we have today is remnants of alien technology?
Thermal.
Thermal?
If you look at the what's it called? When it was like invented, it was like 3 years after Roswell. And the military only used it. It was like a top secret military use. And same with like what's it called? Infrared. Same thing. And then after like even in Vietnam they had thermal. They didn't release it until like after that, which would be like the 80s and 90s, which is when we have thermal. But like you can go back and ask Vietnam veterans who had top secret clearance. They had thermal and infrared. That was all stuff that they found and kind of re-engineered off of the ships, in my opinion.
I don't know that, but yeah, that's awesome. I like because I've never like put stuff like that together. I'm thinking microwaves. Mine was a little piss poor. Than, I feel like you did a little more digging than mine.
Yeah, I mean, you still might be right.
Cooler.
You
Yeah.
still might be right. I mean, I also think that they fucked up trying to make a bomb and realized, like, shit, we can cook food with this? Hell yeah.
Right.
Shit, that probably, yeah, man. That was probably it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think personally, if they, I mean, Lazar said that they had a ship. what did he say? There was like 14 ships or something that they had that they were studying, and one of them they literally uncovered it out of like fossilized rock from like 60 million years ago.
Whoa.
I'm like, dude, come on.
Did you guys? What do you think about the Baltic Sea anomaly?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
I've been researching that for the last like 2 weeks. Everything I could find on the internet, like everything, dude.
Everything you're allowed to find on the internet.
Yeah, everything you're allowed to find, dude. The Baltic Sea anomaly, in my opinion, they're like, that's rock formations. I'm like, your ass is a rock formation. That is not a rock formation, dude. Nature doesn't build shit that just looks like a perfect spaceship that's been fossilized.
Yeah, I don't know, like how the hell it got
doors and shit,
fossilized, but
or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, it looks like it's been
Yeah.
covered with like sedimentary rock or whatever, but it's like, dude, nature doesn't do that. Go
Yeah.
anywhere on Earth and look at the stuff that we make and the stuff that nature makes. We
Well,
don't have anything that looks like this thing.
we do have
anywhere.
symmetry in nature.
Yeah.
We definitely have symmetry, but it's not anything like that. And it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like almost too good to be real. Like if that was a legitimate spacecraft, they would have never let that out. They would have never leaked that information. You know, so it's one of those like, is it how could it possibly be if it is like why didn't our government like fucking send a recovery team down there to get it?
Dude, it's massive.
How
It's
big
like,
is it?
it's literally like, what do they say? It's 600 something feet across.
I thought it was small.
Like this thing is massive.
I thought
It's
it was small.
humongous. They dove down to it.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh God, this thing's big. You know what I mean? The thing that gets me is that it looks like it was built for function.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like, hey, you know, this is a really nifty temple they threw together from an ancient, which in itself would have been fascinating. You know what I mean? This is like, I don't know. I was on, when I was looking at this, about halfway through it, I was willing to be like, okay, this is just a coincidence. All right, I can live with it. Whatever. It's a rock formation. Whatever.
Yeah, they do a really good job.
Yeah, until they showed the whole you know how they do the, what do you call it, scan where they can see the depth and all that, and they give you a 3D render of it. When they showed that, and you got the ship here, and you literally have a trench here from where it hit and slid, then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to accept that it's a rock formation anymore, fellas. Give me something different. Give me something else, because that's not a rock formation.
It's a metallic meteor.
Yeah, it's something. It ain't no damn rock formation.
Well, then again, I keep thinking that the government will allow certain things to get out, especially stuff like that, to, I guess, to let the people are like, oh yeah, this is true, and then they'll deny it. And like, I feel like they give you bits and pieces, because if anybody knows us, we can't agree on any fucking thing in the world. We will fight tooth and nail on anything.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is the government is a toxic girlfriend.
Yes.
She just trickles a little bit of information and then no.
Yeah. Like, and then like
redacted.
You just can't. Yeah, you can't freaking figure out anything. They're trying to tell you, like, read between the lines.
Yeah.
Well, the lines are blacked out, so I can't read anything.
You can't read between them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's not okay.
Guys, I'm out of time for tonight.
Yeah.
I wish I could stay on all night, but unfortunately, bills have to be paid.
Yeah.
Kyle, it is freaking awesome to get to hang out and bullshit with you, man. I hope you had fun, man. I know we're a crazy bunch of dudes, but I hope you had a good time with us, because it was a good time.
No, thank you for having me come on. And anytime you guys are having a live show or anything and you want to hit me up, definitely give me a day or two notice, but I'll try to pop in and chill with you guys and see if I can argue with somebody who doesn't like Todd Standing.
Right on.
Do you want to plug anything to let people know where you at?
Just discovering Bigfoot podcast at gmail.com is my email if you want to reach out to me.
Oh yeah, man.
And you say you're working on the whole Spotify thing. I know you said you had some trouble there.
Yeah. I'm waiting on some help to get that cleared up and get all the audio up on Spotify. So that's in the process. And that'll just be Discovering Bigfoot Podcast. It'll just be, that's what it's going to be called. And anybody who wants to watch these podcasts, it's Spotify, or not Spotify. It's on YouTube as Sylvanic Bigfoot. That's the channel I'm on.
Sylvanic Bigfoot. Okay.
Oh yeah, man.
Well,
Appreciate you, bud.
Yeah, no
Glad
problem.
you were
Thanks
on,
again
man.
for having me come on.
Yeah.
Tyler, thanks again.
Yep.
Love bullshit with you. Josh, it was awesome to meet you and to hear your opinions. Thank you so much. Your beard is
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank
I want to grow one day like that. Same with yours, Danny.
Okay, I guess I'm.
Mine
Mine's
Mine
not
doesn't-
that great.
Mine doesn't fit on camera, Tyler. I got to go way.
Tyler's is pretty big too.
It's
I'm working on
bushy.
it.
He's got the bush.
He's
Context.
just Josh's ZZ type. There's ZZ top down here.
Yep. It's awesome. Well, everybody out there who's listening to this, we appreciate you too. And do us a favor, man. Take care of each other. We're all each other has in this world.
Mwah!
See you guys.
Peace.